Hello and welcome to this version of VOCR 2.0. I covered this a long time ago, and we've seen amazing, huge updates to VOCR. Now, the last time I did this, I made an egregious mistake at the beginning of the video, and I vow not to do that this time. I said you didn't need to use Control-Shift, Command W, only Control Command W. I was wrong, and I wrote that in the description, but a lot of people asked me about it. This time, to keep me on my toes and to kick my butt, I have Chi-Kim with me, the creator of VOCR, so that I don't screw up, and so that I hopefully don't miss any of the functionality. So, VOCR, tell us about what it does and how people might use it.
All right. So I actually made a VOCR for myself because I'm also blind, and main reason I created it because there are a lot of inaccessible app out there, especially installers. So when I need to install something, I always ask my wife or someone else. I always bug someone. So like, oh well, let me just create something and see if it works. And I started with a very rudimentary OCR program before, but now macOS came with their own version. It works so much better, and I was like, oh, maybe some other people might be able to use it, and seems like a lot of people want to use it. So it's been great.
It has been great, and it's been one of those things that I say to people and my students that I teach, that there are certain things on the Mac operating system that are not just, yeah, you might want this, but I consider them mandatory, and VOCR is definitely one of those. Some people would consider Keyboard Maestro to be that, but I think VOCR is more so, particularly if you are a VoiceOver user. So what does VOCR actually stand for?
VoiceOver OCR, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
All right, so imagine I'm a new user. I mean, I'm not, and I've got tons of settings, and I probably should have reset them beforehand, but just pretend. What do I do to make VOCR work?
So you mean like installing or just using it?
Post-install, because my assumption, right, is that people are going to come to this from the VOCR homepage, hopefully having installed it, and also read the README. Please read the README. And also, if you are finding this without going to VOCR's homepage, because you found it on my channel, please look in the video description for all relevant links and information. But prerequisites, you kind of need to install VOCR. If you've done that, what do you do now?
All right, once you install and everything is working, first thing you want to try is Control-Shift-Command-W. That will scan your window. And once you scan it, you'll hear something says finished. And then you can navigate the result with the Control Command up and down, left and right arrow to go through the result.
So like this.
Finish scanning Finder, temp.
So it said finish scanning Finder, temp. And it tells me that I'm in Finder, the application, and I'm also in the temp folder within my Finder. So if I now go to the top of the window, and I'm going to do that by doing Control Command FN up arrow, because I'm on a laptop keyboard, which is essentially top of the page.
Temp.
Okay. So I'll go down from here by doing Command Control down arrow.
Favorites temp. iCloud name date modified size. Locations chocolate slab JPG the 6th of June 2017 at 2041 6.6 ME.
So you might be asking yourself, why am I doing it this way when of course VoiceOver would give me the same information? And the answer is this. There are a lot of times in life that VoiceOver does not give you the same information. There are inaccessible windows, inaccessible installers, as Chi-Kim pointed out earlier, and lots of reasons why VOCR will, believe me, come into your basket of goodies and be used time and time and time again. But in this instance, this is not necessary, but it can still be useful. So I've done that, and I can navigate around. But what if there are multiple words on the same line and I need to go and click one of those words? How do I do that?
So you can go Control Command left or right arrow, or you can add Shift to it and they'll go character by character.
Okay, so let's practice going character by character. So I'm holding Command Control Shift and pressing the right arrow now.
L-O-C-A-T-I-O-N-S.
Okay, so it says locations, and that's the end of the word location. So if I remove the Shift key and then keep pressing Command Control right arrow.
Chocolate slab JPG. The 6th of June 2017 at 2041. 6.6 ME. 6.6 ME.
And if you're listening on headphones or good speakers, you will notice that there's a whooshing sound that goes from left to right. Now this is an option that is customizable from the very extensive settings menu. how do we get into the settings menu to customize some of these options?
So settings is a Control-Shift-Command-S.
Menu.
Okay, I've gone into this and it brought up a menu sound, and it's the same noise you get when you do, for example, VOM or VO-Shift-M. And then I'll navigate this with standard keys by going up or down the menu.
Settings submenu.
And there is a submenu. I could press right arrow to enter that. I'm not going to do that right now. Let's keep going.
Save latest image command. S.
Save latest image. So based on the screenshot scan I took earlier with Command Control Shift W, I could save this to a file. And you might want to do this if, for example, you need to send something to a developer, or they need to give you some information, or you need to give them some information, as the case may be. This is useful.
Save OCR result ellipsis.
Save OCR result. That will save the text that OCR's picked up to a text file. Is that correct?
Yep.
Updates submenu.
Updates, a very useful place you probably want to visit quite often. In here we see things like check for updates and
Updates submenu about ellipsis.
about, and this will tell you the current version number that you're running.
Check for updates. Tick automatically check for updates.
And there's a great option in here, which is probably what you want, which is automatically check for updates. And just like any option when you come in a menu, you can press enter to select it, or VO space if that's your jam.
Tick automatically install updates.
Automatically install updates. Another useful one if you don't feel like being bothered by any of this.
Download pre-release.
Download pre-release. Ooh. Will you see that in the public build, Chi?
Might not.
Might not.
Well,
I
yeah.
thought so as well.
Yeah.
About ellipsis.
And back to about. So let me hit the left arrow
Menu updates
and
submenu.
we'll go down some more.
Dismiss menu command. Z.
Dismiss menu command Z. And if you do that, because sometimes pressing escape is not going to do what you think it will, and in fact I will show you what that does now, is nothing. And there's the doorbell. So please talk about something while I briefly get the door.
So the dismiss is why is there is when you are in a navigation mode. So once you scan an OCR, you go into a navigation mode where you can control command up and down to navigate the result. And if you want to get out of the navigation mode, you hit escape. But when you bring up the menu with the Control Shift Command S, and when you hit escape, it's not gonna work because you're in navigation mode. That's why there's a dismiss menu Command Z. If you are not in the navigation menu, you won't see that.
That threw me a lot for the first time
Yeah.
I started doing this, because I'm a veteran VOCR user. I made the first demo when it came out. And when all these new changes came in, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know how to leave this menu. And I messaged Chi and I said, I feel stupid, but I'm stuck in the menu. And he's like, yeah, do this. Okay, that solves that. Normally, by the way, and let me see if I can demonstrate what happens if you're in a normal menu and you press escape. So I'll do Command Z to get out of this.
Finder. Temp window.
We're back in Finder. Let me go to the VOM menu now, for example.
Apple menu.
And if I press escape now,
List view table. Row 2 of 2.
I may need to, okay, I'll scan first
Finish scan.
and I'll go back into the menu.
Apple menu.
Now, if I press escape, what it should say
Exit VOCR navigation.
is exit VOCR navigation. That's what I wanted to show you all.
Mm-hmm.
So what this has done essentially is not left the menu at all. The menu is still present. I need to press escape one more time.
List view table.
And that's because pressing escape actually gives you back control of the keys, the command control up and down arrow keys, so you can carry on browsing and navigating. So that's a useful feature. Now, I think we're at the bottom of the menu at that point, so that's the big menu, but we have to go into it deeper than that because the settings menu has a lot of stuff in there.
Menu. Settings submenu. Settings submenu. Target window.
Target window. What's that for?
So if you are in a application where you're primarily inside the main window, but for some reason there's some other windows blocking the main window, and you need to scan the main window, but the other unknown window is becoming as a main window, then you can set the target so that your current window can be the main window. This happened before in the Waves plugin in the Reaper. When scanning Reaper, what happens is that it tries to scan Waves invisible blank window, and people weren't able to use it via OCR. So I set it so that people can set the Reaper window or whatever plugin they are using as a main window so they can scan it.
That's very clever. It also happened in Steam for Mac before Steam became slightly more accessible. I think I mentioned that was one of the first to say like, hey, this is broken. How can we get around this? Another way to get around inaccessible windows, which doesn't always work but sometimes can, is to scan from another application, such as Finder. And if you have an empty desktop, as I do, and I maintain this for a good reason, is because it sees the majority of the window that you can basically next command tab to. So if you have an application that's not behaving very well, and you're not really sure why, and you can't reach it with VoiceOver F2, you may find that switching to an empty Finder window and then scanning will show you the missing culprit. It can be very, very helpful. But you can also try this target window option as well. And a lot of this stuff we're going to leave for you to try on your own so that we don't spend 300 years going through all the things in this video, because you'll be here all week.
Tick auto scan.
Auto scan. This is a useful feature. You can explain that one too.
Yeah, that one actually, Victor implement this thing. So what happened is when you click something with the VO shift space, it will automatically initiate the scan. So when you hit the mouse click, it will scan it, so you don't have to press that Control Shift Command W, which is kind of awkward thing to press all the time.
It's a very useful feature. It's like an auto refresh the screen essentially. So when you have scanned the screen, you may wonder, well, what do I do with the information once I've found it? To click the information, you will do a VO shift space, which is a VoiceOver shift click essentially. And that means that when you've moved the cursor to that point, you're actually clicking the physical mouse on that part of the screen. And then this auto scan option will refresh. So every time you do that, the screen will make another noise to tell you that it's done it. And even if you click the physical mouse, the screen will also refresh.
Detect objects.
Detect objects. This one is not one I tend to use very often, but it is here.
So that one is using the macOS Vision Kit to find any boxes that doesn't have any text. So for example, if there's a user interface icon, but it doesn't have any text associated with it, you can at least be able to go there and click it. So when you OCR the window and you will get something that says object, that means that most likely some kind of icon without text.
So could this be used for clicking rogue checkboxes maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Or a button or some file icon, but it's just represented by an icon, not a file.
Yeah, we've seen that a few times where it's hard to know the state of a button, haven't we? So that's kind of irritating.
Yep,
Tick.
exactly.
Use last prompt.
Use last prompt. Now we get on to some of the deeper and more advanced things, but how would you describe this quite useful option?
I think we should come back to that one after we do the AI stuff.
Yeah,
That'll make more sense.
Reset position on scan.
Reset position on scan. Okay, a personal favorite of mine, this one. When you scan the screen with the VOCR, I like my cursor to remain where it is. By default, it will go back to the top of the window. So imagine that you're 3/4 of the way down the window. You may not want your cursor to go to the top every time you rescan. So disabling this, because it seems to be a disable, not an enable, will keep your position where it was previously.
Tick. Positional audio.
Positional audio. That was the whooshing sound you heard earlier. Some people will like this and some people won't. I am in the will camp, and this just gives you a bit of a spatial, a visual spatialization really as to where the item is on the screen. I find this useful to know, and if I'm trying to describe something to someone who can see, this is kind of toward the middle left or the bottom right. So by enabling this, I get more of a sense of where the item is I'm clicking.
Tick. Move mouse.
Move mouse. Very useful. I imagine it's a bit like the follow voiceover or mouse follows voiceover cursor option in VoiceOver Utility, in that when you do command control up down, the mouse is moving. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Tick. Launch on login.
Launch on login. Again, a useful thing for me. I used to have to go in and add this to users and groups manually. Glad I don't have to do that now. And it just means that your VOCR will be ready as soon as your computer is ready after a reboot.
Log.
Log for developers. Will you be seeing that in public too?
Yes.
Okay.
Engine submenu.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, so mainly it just like save all the like different results and things like that for me to track if someone said, oh, this thing doesn't work. And basically
okay.
it will create a VOCR.txt in your documents folder, and you can just send me the file, and I can look over what's going on.
So what I would say is, of course, don't email Cheekin with all your VOCR TXTs for the next 5 years. He probably wouldn't like that. Of course, now I've said that, they'll be trolled with them. Haha. Gotcha. Engine submenu.
Sound output ellipsis.
And we'll come back to that in a moment. Sound output is where you could set the output sound of the whooshing to whichever interface you like.
Choose camera ellipsis.
Choose camera. That is for setting the camera for some of the AI features we'll come back to momentarily.
Shortcuts ellipsis.
Shortcuts, where you can define your hotkeys for VOCR to use.
Target window.
And we're back to target window. So let's go
Engine submenu.
into this engine submenu. I pressed E to do that right, and I pressed the right arrow.
Engine submenu. Tick GPT.
GPT. Now, GPT is using GPT-4 Vision, is that right?
Yes. Right now, actually, we switched to GPT 4.0
Oh, right.
because it's a 50% cheaper and faster.
It did seem quite fast when I tried it, so that's rather cool. So you have to have your own API key to make this work, and that is listed and how you get that and everything in the README. So again, please visit the README if you don't find that this video covers everything you want to know. This is only supposed to be a sort of quick video, but it's turning out not to be.
Ollama.
Ollama. Now, this is a local LLM, so a triple LM, that you can run on your own system and therefore pay nobody for your results. That's also covered in the README.
Llama CPP.
Llama CPP, very scary. I have never investigated this and don't think
Currently,
I want
it's
to.
not available at the moment. So I just kept it because they temporarily suspended. So hopefully it will come back. So when they come back, people can use it.
Oh gosh.
Open the API key ellipsis.
Open API key, which you can set there, and that's a good thing to do if you want to use a paid API services.
Set system prompt ellipsis.
Set system prompt. Now, what would you say about this, and what kind of prompt do you think people should be using for best results?
I mean, if you use a Ollama with the local model, I think the system prompt is there for the model, the lava people used to train their model. But no, you can use system prompt for anything, like describe something for this way or that way. You can be more specific about how you want the visual description to be returned.
Oh, great.
Tick GPT.
And we're back to GPT. So we have covered the very expensive and extensive setting menu.
Finder. Temp window.
And so I've pressed escape to exit this window. Now, there are a few other keys that might be of use to you. We've discovered and talked about Command Control Shift W. What other keys would be worth trying at this point?
And there's a VoiceOver with V.
Oh,
Control
yes.
Shift Command V. They'll only scan where the VoiceOver cursor is.
This is useful, for example, if you find yourself on a quick look panel, as an example, and you don't want to scan the whole screen, so you don't want all the file edit, view stuff along the top. You just want whatever VoiceOver cursor is currently highlighted on. I will demonstrate this with this picture, which is called Chocolate Slab, which has been on your screens the entire time we've talked, apart from when we've been in menus. So I'll hit the space bar now.
Chocolate_slab JPG.
And I'll do VO right arrow.
Annotate document, rotate image, share file, open with preview of chocolate_slab JPG image.
So we're on the preview. Now, if I do a normal VOCR scan with VOCR Shift W.
Finish scanning finder, quick look.
And we go to the top of the window.
Chocolate slab JPG open with preview.
And we get this information here, open with preview, and we go further down.
Hotel. Chocolate. British cocoa grower.
And it shows you a bit about that. And if I go to the very bottom,
Join us in our world of edible luxury.
join us in our world of edible luxury. So that's the last line. That was a complete VOCR window scan. But if I repeat the scan by first doing VOCR Shift V.
Finish scanning VO cursor.
And now we look.
Hotel. Chocolate. British cocoa grower.
See, the top line is no longer the open with preview section. This is just whatever the VoiceOver cursor is focused on. Now, if I move off of this particular field
Open with share file button.
and try again, VOCR Shift
Nothing found.
with the VoiceOver, it says nothing found. It doesn't see that button. And what about
Rotate image
if I
left
move
button.
to the move image left?
Nothing found.
It doesn't find it. There's nothing for it to pick up. It's a button. So
Annotate document but chocolate_slab JPG.
will it get this text?
Finish scanning VO cursor. Chocolate slab JPG. Chocolate slab JPG. Chocolate slab J.
Just one line, you see? So it ignored the buttons and it's specifically looking for text. Maybe those buttons are actually just icons, so it doesn't know really what to do with them. So
This might be useful when you want to like navigate a web page and like Reddit or something, and if you want to just see the graphics, and you can just scan the video cursor instead
Yes.
of the entire web page.
Yes, exactly. That's a good use case, I think. All right, so we've covered those two. Those are the main ones, I would think. And your question, therefore, might be in the comments, well, how do I know which one to use at any given time? I would say that if you want an entire overview of your currently focused application or window, that you use the W key. And if you want whatever's currently under your VoiceOver cursor, assuming that VoiceOver can reach the thing you want to find, which it cannot always do, then you should use VOCR V. So it's going to be very dependent on your situation and your application. Trial and error is going to be the aim of the game here, I think. But if you're, for example, in an installer that does not work with VoiceOver, you should probably not bother using VOCR V. Use W in this case to get the entire overview of the window. Right, what next?
I guess we can talk about AI stuff.
Yes, that dreaded word or two-letter. And there's the bell. Please discuss while I let my daughter in.
So we as you saw, there were a couple of options in the engines. So what we can do is we can capture the screen and ask AI about certain questions. So we can ask, describe the image, or can you let me know which color is this thing, and so on. So you can do various things, sort of like a Be My AI, but with a computer screen or any image file you have in your computer.
Which is interesting timing, isn't it? Because I don't know if you know this, but Be My AI just released their own free desktop app for Windows yesterday. But VOCR's had this for months.
Yeah.
That's quite an interesting time. But yeah, that should be the last doorbell I have to get today. The first one actually wasn't my daughter, it was clothes, but not for me.
All right.
So now that everybody's home and the dog's shaking, I can do an image scan. I have an image.
Exit
So
view.
how?
List view table. Row 2 of 2.
There you
Chocolate
go.
underscore slab JPG JPEG.
What do you think I should do with this? Which key should I
There's
use?
a few ways you can get it. One way is you can, open the VO Shift M and open in and choose VOCR.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Or you can just open a preview and just scan only the VoiceOver cursor. Or if you want, you can even choose a camera and import from your iPhone, because now continuity works with the iPhone, so you can just point somewhere and just click camera, and you can import image from your iPhone camera as well.
So many choices and so many ways to do the same thing, but slightly differently, and that's good. Choice is what we want, really. It's the aim of the game, isn't it? So I'm going to try, for example, the VO Shift M option and try to open with
Menu. Open with, move to, open with, submenu, preview app, line square app, color sync utility, Google Chrome app, QuickTime Player, Safari app, VOCR app.
And if you want to do this faster, I was just showing you what's in my menu. You can press V, because likely most people have VOCR now installed, and you can do this and press enter.
List view, getting response from GPT. Please wait.
And it's getting the response from GPT, please wait. And it will get the response from GPT and then copy the response to the clipboard if you wish to review it, which is brilliant. So what I will do is paste it in TextEdit so that we can see it, not just hear it in a moment. I'll open a fresh document and see what it comes back with. Because
The image depicts the back of a product box.
Oh, there we go. So the image has come back and it's being self-voiced by VOCR, by the system voice. So your system voice and VoiceOver voice may not be in sync, but mine happen to be. But my system voice is faster than VoiceOver just because I left it alone. So let's open TextEdit.
TextEdit, application. TextEdit.
Let's make a new document with Command N and paste this text on the clipboard with Command V.
Sense.
So now we have an entire list of what this thing has come back with. Let's read some of this together.
The image depicts the back of a product box for hotel, misspelled, chocolate, a British cocoa grower, the design of the packaging presents a professional and luxurious appearance. Here is a detailed breakdown of the elements.
And so it would now go into a detailed breakdown of the elements. And we don't want to read those just yet because I want to show you what VOCR natively would explain about this. So this would give you a bit more information about the stuff that is not just text, but is kind of useful.
In the image.
So I will minimize this window temporarily.
Finder, temp window.
And now I'm going to, because that was actually sent to GPT to read, I'm going to open the image in preview.
Preview, chocolate underscore slab JPG.
And I'm going to do a full VOCR scan, so that's a VOCR with W here.
Finish scanning preview, chocolate slab JPG.
Now, can we read it from top to bottom and see what the text is?
Chocolate slab JPG.
So here, of course, I did VOCR FN up arrow, which is like VOCR page up to go to the top of the window.
Hotel. Chocolate.
And I'm going down. Each whoosh is a new line.
British cocoa grower. Brand designs. We think our iconic handmade giant slabs are works of art. And we hope you agree, once you've finished admiring this magnificent still life in chocolate, just remove the lid, snap your slab into pieces and turn the frame into a tray, perfect for sharing.
So this being an image would not be something that VoiceOver could read. In fact, if I navigate the window with VoiceOver now,
Image. Toolbar. Image. Toolbar. Chocolate under full screen. Minimize. Close button.
there's not a lot to see here.
Image.
So this is a prime use for VOCR. You might be sent an image by friend or family, and this happens a lot to us with social media being what it is, and you might want to know what that image is. So now you have a multitude of ways of finding out exactly what that is and how you might benefit from the information contained within. So that's a bit about this chocolate. Now, it's been making me hungry, so I'll get rid of that.
Finder. Temp.
But do be aware that because I have not yet pressed escape, Command Control up down arrow will still show me
Biscuits and drizzled with dark chocolate. UK ingredients: cocoa solids, cocoa butter, cocoa mass, sugar, full cream milk powder, shortbread biscuits, 7%, wheat flour, sugar, vegetable oils.
all the information about the chocolate. So to clear that last scan, press escape.
Exit VOCR navigation.
So that's now gone. I think that's a decent breakdown of that. What do you think? Did I miss
Yeah.
anything?
I think you have a use last prompt checked?
Yes, I think I do. Yeah.
You might you want to show people the dialogue when it shows up so you can ask a question about it.
Do you know what? I don't think I know how to do that.
Oh,
I've used VOCR so long, but
You know,
there's
like
always something to forget.
yeah, Control Shift Command A.
Okay, Control Shift Command A. Here we go.
Yeah.
Getting response from
So,
GPT. Please wait.
no, but you have to uncheck the use last prompt.
Ah, yes. Okay. So whatever it will do now will be just related to the currently focused window or something. Well, let's see what it says temporarily. I'm kind of curious. Wasting time.
Yeah.
It may come back with a whole bunch
This
of
image
nothing.
appears to be a screenshot of a File Explorer window, likely from a Mac OS operating system. Here are
So it's telling me about what that is. So let me disable the last prompt.
Menu.
Right. So I'll go into
settings,
settings
submenu, settings, sub,
and
tick, use last prompt,
press enter on this to disable that.
finder, temp window,
Yeah,
Okay,
now-
so-
and go to the open up the chocolate image again one more time.
preview,
Okay.
Okay, now scan and
Your full scan. Yeah. We'll
Finish
do a
scanning pre-
W scan here.
then Control Shift Command A.
application, alert, dialog, prompt, cancel button, prompt.
Ah,
Now
so
you can
here we have
ask
the prompt. Yeah, we
ask
can
some question about that.
Okay,
Image.
default, analyze the image in a cancel button.
Oh, so here's the prompt.
Analyze the image in a comprehensive and detailed manner.
I'll
So
delete
that's
this
the
prompt.
default prompt. Yeah.
Okay.
Selection
So I've
deleted.
deleted that prompt, and I want to ask, for example, what does
the
the packaging
Packaging.
look
Like.
like?
Question space.
Ignore
any
text.
Text. Question text.
And I'll
Period.
press enter.
Preview response from GPT. Please wait.
So I don't want to know about any text. I just want to know what the packaging shows because I think that's really interesting.
The packaging is predominantly black with a white, irregularly shaped cutout in the center. This cutout reveals text below it. At the top section of the packaging, there is a flap with a cutout handle for easy carrying or for display purposes. The overall shape is rectangular and sleek, with a modern, elegant aesthetic. The design suggests it is a high-end or premium product. Prompt tokens, 894.
Let me put this in text edit for you who cannot follow VoiceOver at this speed.
Fine. Preview. Text edit. Text paste. Selection. The
So here's what we have, and it's now coming up on the screen.
reveals text carrying or for display purpose. Aesthetic. That is the prompt tokens, 894.
So now we see the prompt tokens that it has used and also the approximate cost of that query to the API as well.
Completion tokens, 78. Total tokens, 972. Cost, 0.564 cents.
Nice and cheap. I really like GPT-4o for its cost.
Cost, 0.
I do like that. So there we go. We covered a lot here, I feel like, but also we talked a lot. But hopefully by explaining and giving you this kind of walkthrough, you get a decent idea of what you could expect and how you might be expected to utilize the functions of VOCR. Do you think we missed anything really important?
No, not really. Yeah, that covers it.
I think it's tough doing these kind of demos because there's so many little features, you
Yeah.
know. But if we missed anything that you're like, I found this but don't know how to use it, just leave a comment in the video description. I try to really always respond to comments, and if I don't, probably Chi will. But one of us will anyway. So we'll answer your question as quickly as we can. Thank you for listening and watching. Have fun with VOCR, and most importantly, enjoy your day. Bye bye.